Hey guys, happy Thursday. Welcome back to Ken on Thursdays. Kicking it with Ken. All those good words. Anyways, happy Lent. Lent started yesterday for us Christians. More so yesterday was Ash Wednesday for us Catholics. If you don't know much about Catholicism, I'm not going to get into a big rant about being Catholic and all the stuff that us Catholics do throughout the year. But Lent is one of them, and we will try to be, I guess, a better person and make some changes for the good. Try to get rid of some of those pet peeves and strive to be a better person. That's what Lent's about for me. So happy Lent. Anyways, I just wanted to talk to you. Welcome back. On vacation last week. Obviously, we went down to Punta Cana. Hopefully, you've seen those videos. Pretty cool. Nice, relaxing vacation. Just Candy and I, we left on Monday, came back Friday. So we had about 3 full days down there. Good times. Weather was great. I think we had maybe 15 minutes of rain. But other than that, it was nice. The part about traveling that is the worst for me is I don't know if you guys know, but I've fear of heights. What is it? Lozapram, I think is how you say it. I don't know. Is the medication I actually take when I fly, and it just kind of relieves the stress a little bit. I've been taking those probably for the last 2-3 years. Before that, I just kind of suck it up and stress out the whole time. But little medication takes the edge off for me. Candy had an episode on the way back. Little anxiety situation for her. We worked through it. She may talk about it in a video here in the future, or maybe she already has, and I missed out on that. I did watch the 2 vacation videos, but the second one not in entirety, but probably should. Anyways, the thing I want to bring up is, you know, there's a lot of controversy in flying these days with Southwest Airlines and some of the decisions they've made in upper management and how they got some really smart guys to come in and started looking more at productivity than they did customer service and some of the recommendations that the pilots wanted, etc. And they've been in some trouble. You could probably Google it, investigate it a little more, and probably have more knowledge than I do, but a little sticky. I think I've flown Southwest a couple times way in the past. But now the airlines, if I'm flying Delta. Delta used to be Northwest Airlines, and then they merged. Delta was back then, and then they merged. And I've always been very pleased, very kind, good flights, the pilots, and again, you know, all hearsay, but you know, I have friends in the aerospace industry, and a lot of the pilots that Delta gets are, you know, retired Naval and Air Force pilots, so they've put in a lot of hours versus Spirit. I don't think I'm ever gonna fly Spirit again. We did to Cancun once. Terrible flight, bumpy, and that's the crazy stuff, is the bumpiness, but delays, all that good stuff. Delta's been pretty good. Flights have always been good. They try to find that smooth sailing that makes me really happy. And I know you can't control the bumps. Candy's always picking on me because I look at the weather continually before we go to see where the storms are, what the winds are going to be, and what parts of the country I need to prepare for gripping my seat arms. But overall been pretty good, and I've been pleased with Delta. Can't say that I think Spirit and some of these other airlines work their pilots too long, and I know there's rules and regulations. Again, I'm not a professional on it, but I can just tell you from my experiences, I've been pleased with Delta up until this trip. So down was great. We had a connector back from Punta Cana to Atlanta. That was a great flight. We did kind of look at our seats for Atlanta back to Detroit, and they kept like bouncing around. Like my seat kept moving. And in this case, we had booked our flights separately because I used all my miles that I have to book our flight there and back. And then Candy had some points and applied cash to us. So our flights weren't booked together as a couple per se, but obviously, you know, we're a couple. So the seats kept bumping around. And I believe it was due to plane changes. You know, they switch planes up, whatever, to stay on, you know, timing, etc., which I completely understand. And what had happened is we were both in 3CD. I got bumped to 4, so she's like, well, that's not right. So she went in the app and moved her seat to 4, so we were together. Anyways, we get to Atlanta, and they moved our seats again, and we're completely separate. And mind you, on the way back, Candy has this anxiety attack from Punta Cana to Atlanta. We calm down. Obviously, my stress is her stresses. It's good for us to be together to coach and warmth and, you know, all that good stuff. Well, I went up to the gate teller, and there were a couple people in front of me, and this teller at Delta was just, He was like nasty to everybody. Actually, there were two guys. He was nice to them, and then this lady, and he basically told her to go sit down. So I went up, I said, hey, here's my situation, blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, there's nothing I can do to help you. I'm like, well, there's a lot of individual flyers in this, because we were in first class. A lot of individual flyers, can't you just pair us up? And he's like, just basically got really nasty with me and told me to go sit down. I'm like, well, is there any supervisor? And he just points. So we go down to, you know, a general area, information area, a couple individuals down there, present our case and what had happened. And they were like completely like clueless, inadequate of what they needed to do. They're on the phone. Here I'm freaking out because, you know, boarding's going to happen, even though I know there was time. But again, when you're dealing with anxiety and stress of flying, the last thing you want to do is, you know, not get on in time. So no help there. We went back. The guy was still, I tried to get his name. I couldn't get his name. Anyways, our last feat was to get on the plane and hopefully someone would be nice enough to let us on. So we get on, Candi sits in her seat. She's back in, I think, 4 something or other, and I'm up in 1. And I just basically sat there, and the stewardess kept saying, you know, can I help you? I explained the situation. She's like, well, we can just kind of wait. So pretty much almost until the doors closed. Last guy boards. We asked him if he'll switch seats. He was kind enough. His name was Todd. Totally awesome dude. I kept calling him Saint Todd. He let us switch, but it was so stressful and so unneeded that they couldn't just switch us around, or the way they handled it. The fact is when they're rescheduling seating, at least look at the last name and see that we have the exact same last name and put us together. So that was the most frustrating part of the trip. I've never had that happen with Delta before. It kind of really put a burden on the trip. The flight was great coming home. Smooth, landed safe, all that good stuff, and you know, we got home safely. Food, I hope we can get back to the place where they actually have better food for service on flights there to back, all that good stuff, because right now it's just box average food, and it probably will never go back with hot meals and stuff like that. It's just this box creative stuff. Oh well, you can live with it. Anyways, that's kind of the flying situation. And then when we got home, I found this TikTok of this Southwest flight down in Texas. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but TikTok search it or something like that. But what happened is a Southwest flight was taking off at the same time that FedEx was landing, and call it a near miss. And talk about freaking out. I'd be having an absolute heart attack. Not really the flight's faults, the pilots or anything like that, more air traffic control of not knowing what's going on. That's the scary stuff. And they did get away, but you can kind of listen to what's going on. And I asked Candi about it, and she's like, I didn't want to share that. She's like, I knew about it. I didn't want to share that with you before we left. So, but yeah, the thing is taking off and landing is fine for me, and I have a friend who's an air traffic controller, and actually that's the most dangerous part, is taking off and landing. Mine's more when you're flying smooth and you hit the turbulence and you're bumpy. That's where I freak out. So I don't know, that's the mental piece of having any kind of phobia, I guess we'll call it. So, but we're home alive, you know, all that good stuff. I don't understand the rudeness. If you're going to have a job and you do it every day, and all the individual had to say to me is, listen, let me work on it, give me a few minutes, come back, something like that, and it would have been completely fine. But he was just rude, uncalled for, unhelpful, no justification, anything like that. So that's kind of the killer for me. Anyways, what else is going on? Big life changes, you know, with our family nest. You know, my kids, they're not kids, they're adults with their adult situations are fun, exciting, and more stressful. Probably more so for Candi than I, but you know, Andrew's house hunting right now, so he's done some pre-approval work with mortgage companies and looking at houses, and they put a bid on a house last weekend. They'd looked at several, really excited, put a bid on it. I gave them asking price, and they lost. They got overbid. No, they didn't even come back and let them counter. So they're kind of bummed. I haven't talked to Andrew about it yet, but I know Candi has. So, you know, that's what's going on with him. He's looking for promotion here soon with his job. He's in a finance role. His boss could be retiring here in the next, I don't know, year or two. I don't know all the details on that. But Andrew's doing some, according to him, I haven't talked to his boss, he's doing well and kind of progressing with life. So who knows? Who knows what will happen there. Blake started a new job while we were on vacation. He's working with a solar panel company. He actually got out of the food business. I think he enjoyed it, but some of the problems, I guess, that I would, you know, identify from being, again, I'm not for living firsthand. This is all from my perspective. The fact is the schedule was kind of crazy. He wasn't getting adequate enough hours. The pay was just okay. And more so, he was just really struggling with, you know, his manager. So actually, he had found this job, put in his 2 weeks. The owner of the restaurant, you know, sat Blake down and said, hey, we'll give you some more money. And Blake's like, well, it's really not about money. It's more about, you know, the atmosphere and the, you know, the situation. And Blake's the kind of, if you guys know Blake, he's introverted. He's got this personality where he's more, he talks to Candi a lot, but he's just, you can't put pressure on Blake. You can't pick on him. You can't do any of that stuff. I mean, he can handle it, but like I said, in a work environment, and again, I don't know his work ethic at work. I assume it's pretty good. I think it seems like he's the kind of kid that does his job well enough to, you know, he's told me. I mean, they would put him in a management role, but he's too young. So that's always a good sign. But what had happened is he didn't want the money, and you know, later that evening the manager was even more harsh than normal, and he finished his shift and put his coat down and said, I'm done. So good for him. In the same token, not good for references in the future. Probably not a, you know, a good move there. Sometimes you just got to suck it up, and that would be my advice. You got to suck it up and finish. You take the beating for one more week and leave on, you know, good terms. But you know, he made his decision. He's an adult, and you know, he'll have to deal with that. But anyways, he's in this new position, and he seems pretty happy. Just hearing Candi on speakerphone with him, he likes it. He seems excited, which, you know, all jobs are exciting when you first start them, but then they become redundant after a while. So nothing on the Carly front. She's on camera enough. You guys probably know what's going on with her. And then Chase, you know, Chase is doing well. We went bowling this past weekend before we went on. No, when we got back. We went bowling, hung out, and he's back to the old goofy, funny Chase, which is totally awesome for me. I enjoy hanging out with him. I've had more time with him since he's been back. But we're in the searching for a job phase with Chase right now. He left Amazon again. For him, it was just mindless work, and he was looking more for a challenge where he can use his brain and communicate with people. And this was just 12 hours of no headphones, and you're just robot. I get it. I've done it. I've worked in, you know, manufacturing. I've worked in, you know, I worked at UPS. Mine was a little more challenging because I was a preloader, but that's probably a whole video talking about preloading. But so we're working on it. He's done a couple phone interviews. It's interesting. Some friends gave us referrals. We probably should have done a little more research, but his resume got passed through HR. All these steps, they set up an interview, and then come to find out he's not qualified. Well, duh. So it was a friend referral. Nothing against the friend. It didn't work out. But that's frustrating when you're looking for a job and you get that no. But it's part of life, part of the learning experience, and you'll get more no's than you get yeses in today's day and age. So keep your head up, Chase. He'll be fine. And like I said, that's the update on my perspective of what's going on with the kids. But you know, that's kind of cool. So you know, like I said, it's stressful, but fun at the same time, and part of, you know, their growth experience of becoming adults. Super Bowl, I'm not going to talk much about football or any of that. I'm sure most of you have watched the Super Bowl. I know it's 2 weeks ago. I haven't reported back since then. Good game. I think the ending was kind of ruined by the referees. I'm not going to ever blame a game on referees, because it takes more than one play to decide a game. I've always told my kids that with coaching too. You know, they'd be like, oh, you know, blame that last kid that missed that out, that when you're tied. Well, it's just not one play that defines how an event goes. It's all the events leading up to that. I mean, if you're winning, you know, by 10, it's not even an issue. But kind of bummed out. I wish I wouldn't have called that play, let it go, kick the field goal, go into overtime, and then we would have had a really exciting thing to talk about. So the Chiefs are two-time winners. I picked the Eagles. Like I said, I lost on that, but getting ready for next year. XFL's on. Not too much about XFL. I'm not going to watch it. I know there's a bunch of Dolphins players that used to play for the Dolphins that are in the XFL. Not really my thing. I guess the next thing coming up might be March Madness college basketball. I didn't film it. I should have filmed it. Well, you guys might not be interested, but Sunday, brother Jim and Chase and I went up to U of M to watch wrestling. between CMU and Michigan, and Michigan beat them up pretty good. But what was really cool is the fact that there were 3 wrestlers on CMU that Chase had wrestled through his high school career. So that's kind of cool to know firsthand some of the kids. But it was fun. Like I said, it was a 5. We were done by 7:30. We stopped for dinner and got home. Again, another thing I forgot to. My brothers came over that day. We made ground bologna. I don't know if you know what that is. My mom used to make it. Some people call it pickles and bologna. It may sound disgusting to you guys, but you get the old hand crank and you put bologna, Velveeta cheese, pickles, onions, eggs, and I think that's it. And then my mom used to put mayonnaise in it. Anyways, it's kind of a sandwich spread. They wanted it, we made it. I parceled most of it. They took most of it. Took some to my dad that day, but that was part of the events of Sunday. So Sunday then kind of starts the all right. Had bologna, went to a nice dinner. I'm disappointed in myself. And I don't know, maybe you guys can help. There is so I've lost about 60 pounds right around COVID time. Candy and I got COVID. I lost a lot of weakness and stuff through COVID and never really got back on the train of my health journey. And disappointing, I think we're rolling on a year and a half, 2, I don't even know the time frame now, but I logged my weight and I'm just disappointed in myself. I know you guys always, you look at me and say, oh, Ken's a big guy. I get it. I've been heavy most of my life. I would do anything to be thin again. I'm not interested in getting any surgical procedures done. I have friends that have done it. There's been success, but I just have this fear of, something could go wrong, number one. I've seen people do it and they fail. They get back into bad habits, gain the weight back, and it's even worse because now they have health problems. A good buddy of mine just did it. He's doing great. Like I said, it's not for everyone. I actually had another friend sit me down and talk to me for 10, 15 minutes. His wife's on a bariatric team, but I feel like I put myself in this situation. I need to get out. And I know those things are helping tools to get you in a good situation, but I lost 60 pounds before, and I had a trainer. He definitely helped out, but I'm disappointed that I put most of it back on. So I've been tracking. I worked out a little bit before vacation. Went on vacation, put on about 5 pounds, which you can expect because you're eating 3 meals a day, which you normally wouldn't do, and it's all good food. I mean, I had lobster 4 times, and I took advantage. So my plan is enough. So here Monday. Back on I'm not going to do a no carb diet or keto or anything like that. I think the biggest problem for someone like me is sugar. So my goal is to cut out sugar. So that means the fake sugar, the real sugar, all that good stuff. So I'm really paying attention to what I eat. I'm trying to go back to clean food. So here we are, Thursday, I'm already down 6 pounds. So I took off the vacation weight, but I got a long way to go. So hopefully we can support each other. If you're on a mission to lose weight, we have OFN Weight Loss Friends on Facebook. You can join that group. But more importantly, I'm kind of nervous. So approaching the 50 mark, I'm getting to the point where is now you got to start doing some of the testing stuff. So I have my first colonoscopy coming up in April. I'm nervous as hell. Obviously I just, any kind of procedure just makes you nervous, but there's some parameters of whether you need to go in a hospital and do it, or you can do it at an endoscopy center, and it's all based on BMI. I'm within the threshold, so I'm fine to go to the endoscopy center. Plus it saves me because my insurance, I think you guys, hopefully you've watched my video before on insurance, is garbage. I don't have many choices being self-employed, so, but the endoscopy center is definitely less invasive. Insurance would cover it either way, but it's just less invasive. But the BMI thing, I started thinking to myself, all right, let's get and the last time I was at my doctor, I've been there obviously twice since weight loss. I was down a bunch and he was totally excited. All my levels came back really good. And then I gained a little bit and he's like, all right, Ken, what's going on? So now I'm above that even, and I need to get kind of at least back to that threshold of my last doctor visit, because I have another doctor visit coming up before the colonoscopy, and I'm sure I'm going to get my butt chewed out. He's a good doctor. He doesn't yell at me, but I'm just trying to get some of my lipids and all that stuff in balance. I'm almost 50. The heart's probably not doing that great, being the size that I am. So I'm just having a heart-to-heart with you of what I think. I know it's easy to critique someone that's overweight, but I'm telling you, it's a struggle. I'm good at most things in life. And maybe food's just a comfort thing. I don't know. It's obviously a combination of comfort foods, falling off the wagon. Because there's times I do great, but there's other times it's like, you know, screw it, let's just have a bad week. And you just get in these bad habits. And I've worked out. This day 4 I've worked out. And it's really frustrating, the fact of how flexible, how good I was feeling, being able to tie your shoes, and I can still tie my shoes, but just the overall flexibility of what I've done to myself again is totally just heart-wrenching. And I really need to get back to better. Right now I'm just going to say better than what I am now. And that's the thing is even with these workouts, I mean, I could do so much, and now it's like I'm spending the better part of the first part of the workout just stretching, because that's the first thing I need to do is get some flexibility before I just start doing weights and doing it. So the first, 20 minutes I'm doing just really some stretching, and then I'm doing a small amount of cardio comes last, but small amount, just because I can't do it like I could before. Now I can walk around and all that stuff, but I'm just talking the strenuous exercise, the elliptical, the rower. God, I could do the rower for 20 minutes. I'm lucky if I can get in 4 now. The elliptical, I mean, when we had the trainer, he'd be like, all right, get on the elliptical 4 minutes, boom, boom, boom. I just go. And I'm just not there anymore. So that's what I'm going to work on. That's part of my goal for Lent, is to really work on myself physically, which will probably help me mentally, I think. So that's kind of, you know, what my plan is to do that. And also, you know, back to the colonoscopy, I'm on TikTok all the time, and I find this video of this physician who's doing a colonoscopy, this anesthesiologist, and some of the comments she had made and diagnosis, etc. And you may or have not seen it. And here it's on TikTok now, but I Googled it and it happened back in 2015 by this Tiffany Ingham is her name, anesthesiologist, and she got in big trouble. I think it was like $500,000 payout, something like that, but it just blew my mind. Way to make me more stressful is having a doctor, what I'm doing while I'm under, talking about stuff. But you could probably TikTok it, Google it. I feel bad for the doc, because I mean, it's like, first of all, you're supposed to be a professional. I get it. We all make mistakes. I think people deserve second chances in life. I'm that kind of person. I don't think everyone should be punished for obviously, you know, 10 Commandments, murder and stuff like that. I don't know. I maybe disagree, but comments and doing something like that. This poor woman has gone through so much training, years and years of her life to become this doctor, and this one incident has now ruined her career. So I looked her up on LinkedIn. It says she's working with the Air Force for 11 years. So I don't know. She's all 1 star. She basically just destroyed her career. I feel bad for her, but God, you pay the consequences. I've dealt with you know, enough docs that have needed second chances in my time, and they're good people. I mean, they seem nice, you know, nice people. And it's so terrible to put so much work and effort into a career, and you screw it up with. I had I know I'm babbling now, but I had a doc once, went through all this training as an emergency medicine doc, and basically lost his license because he was at a concert, had too much to drink, was out by his vehicle, and had to go to the bathroom. He got caught. It's filed as a indecency situation. He lost his medical license all because of a thing he did at a concert, and it was just so heart-wrenching, because this guy had worked his tail off to get where he was at and just made a poor choice, and now he can't practice medicine. It's such a bummer to hear some of these stories that you know, these docs. Now, obviously, malicious stuff is never good, but and our lives are always on the line. When we go to a doc, we expect it to be, you know, perfect. You know, Carly's had some doc stuff going on, and maybe I'll let Candi explain that in a video. But I think I covered everything. I did some babbling today, to 23 minutes of talking, or 22, whatever it is. But you know, lots of good stuff going on. Business is picking up a little bit for me. We got some goals in place, and you know, we're just happy to be here, and we're happy that you come to watch us on a regular basis. I wish we were as big as we once were and had lots more viewers and more comments and all that. Maybe share this video with some of your friends and bring people back in again, because the more comments I get, the more feedback I get, the more I can talk about and, you know, become part of your day and your routine. So, but hey guys, thanks again. I appreciate you, and we'll see you hopefully next week.